We got the thumbs up. That means we're live. I like it. Welcome to Mohawk Table Talk. My name is Mike. With me today is Jared.
I'm back.
That's right. Well, he's always here, but Nate is off today on assignment, so we're bringing you Mohawk Table Talk today, right at 12:30. I'm really proud of us. We did a good job. That's what happens today. That's what happens when you have the producer sitting in the co-pilot seat. So
we're making sure it's on time.
That's right. So thank you for tuning in. Whatever channel you're watching, whatever media source you're watching, whatever social media you're watching, we appreciate it. Again, if this is your first time watching Mohawk Table Talk, we'll give you the quick rundown on what we do. We're coming to you live from the Mohawk Honda studios in upstate New York, in Scotia, New York, that is. And we are the podcast for Mohawk Auto Group, which includes Mohawk Chevrolet, Mohawk Honda, Rap Kings, and of course Mohawk Collision Center. So we appreciate you tuning in. The goal and the purpose of our podcast is to bring you, the listener, and the vehicle driver or rider, the latest and greatest of what's going on in the industry, both locally with us and then regionally within the area of New York and of course nationally. So we have a pretty cool topic today.
We do.
We're going to get to some current events in just a second that are going on with us, but our topic today is subscription-based vehicle features.
Yes.
And if that's the first time you've heard those words together, what that means is there are features on new vehicles, on some new vehicles, that you pay for like a subscription. Kind of like in the old days it would be a magazine or a newspaper subscription, but more recently it would be like a Netflix or something like that where you pay monthly.
Your car.
That's right. That's crazy. So we're gonna chat about that just because it's a topic that a lot of people have asked us about in both of our showrooms. So we figured we'd bring you some of our color on it and kind of go from there. But before we get to that, we always want to bring you the latest and greatest that we as Mohawk Auto Group are involved with, and it's very important to us that we give back to the community.
100%.
Right? Both dollars and time, volunteering and involvement any way we can. And as a partner, a customer, or a friend, you're welcome to always join us at any of these events. So I'm going to throw it to Jared for the latest on what's going on here in the area.
Yeah, 100%. So a couple things going on. Actually, this past Friday, Mohawk Chevy and Mohawk Honda had the opportunity to go to the Special Olympics Night of Champions. Now, if you don't know what that is, we're a big supporter here at both dealerships of Special Olympics, giving athletes of all different types of abilities ways to play, and we were invited. And actually, our very own Kirk Austin got the award for Game Changer.
That's right. I saw that.
So,
that's amazing.
And what that is, they honored around 4 or 5 people. It goes out to people that really make a huge impact in the Special Olympics world. So Kirk was recognized, which was really cool to see him earn that award for all that he does towards Special Olympics and both dealerships, right? So we are at a ton of different Special Olympic events. That's like the Dagan Truck Pull. They have a dodgeball tournament coming up in September. I believe that's September 6th, September 7th. It's the beginning of September. And we put together teams. It's all going to raise money to help Special Olympic athletes play. So if you don't know about it, the athletes don't pay anything. So that comes from donations from people like us, people that just donate themselves, and it allows them to actually go out and play and do what they love and be a part of a team, a community, and go represent themselves. So super cool to see that. That was a lot of fun. That was up at Saratoga on Friday night. And then our other thing going on, if you haven't seen it on both Facebook and Instagram, for the month of July, we are giving out 6 different $100 gift cards with 4 tickets to the Valley Cats games for each gift card. So we've went around to some local restaurants. The 2 contests that are open, and actually we're announcing winners right after this.
Oh, wow, okay.
Is for Arthur's and for Manhattan Exchange.
Oh,
so
cool.
2 local, Arthur's is a coffee house. They also have a little shop, grab and go meals, super cool down in the Stockade. And then Manhattan Exchange on Union Street, which is a great lunch spot. So you might have missed out on those 2, but we got 4 more coming up. So be on the lookout. All you have to do to enter is you like the post that you see on either platform, share it with a friend, and make sure you like our pages, and that's how you enter. We announce the winners live, just so no one gets confused. So winners go out live, and then we will reach out directly to that winner to make sure that you are winning from Mohawk Honda, and we'll give you time to come here, pick up your gift card, take a quick pic with us, and be on your way. So those are the 2 things we really have going on. It's the new Schenectady initiative, so kind of just showcasing what we got going on in the area.
That's awesome. That's great community involvement, and both of those establishments, big shout out. We should have got some samples or something, but we were too late. But we'll do it next time. but both of them are literally right down the road from the Honda store. The Honda store is located in Scotia, but that's just a hair north of Schenectady, so we're only a couple miles away. So support those local businesses. That's a great thing that we're doing. Also, the Plate Change Challenge.
Yes.
There's been a bunch of episodes recorded, and so next month, we're already in mid-July, so next month, the long anticipated those episodes are going to be public, so that's going to be really cool. So keep in touch with that. And just real quick, back to the Special Olympics.
Yes.
Everybody who watches Mohawk Table Talk, and anybody who comes into the dealerships and chats with us knows that all of us, the entire group, and the employees and the partners, were all super supporters of Special Olympics. And what Jared was mentioning were a couple events that some of our team members were involved with. However, we also get involved on a volunteer basis, which we really encourage any of our customers, our partners, our clients to join us on that. And I know I like to do that. And what that volunteer is, we're volunteering at the actual events, where the folks are participating in the events. And I believe the summer games are already done, but the fall games are coming up in less than 60 days. So we'll post some more additional info about that, but it's something that's really important to us, and we appreciate your support over the years. That's really pretty cool. So,
so thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have some, that's a lot of cool stuff. We wanted to bang through that because we wanted to get to our topic at hand. Kind of shifting gears to all cars, inside cars, outside cars. Now, this is not specific to Honda and Chevrolet. However, both Honda and Chevrolet that we sell as new vehicles have some of these.
They do.
We had given the intro a few minutes ago. We wanted to chat real briefly, and Jared and I love chopping it up about this. We chopped it up off camera all the time, but subscription-based features.
Yes.
Now, that's a pretty new thing, although it's not that new. So it's like AI. It's one of those things that as a vehicle driver, you may already have a subscription-based feature in your vehicle, and you don't kind of realize that's what it is.
Yeah.
So, for example, some of the things that you kind of pay for a service in addition to what you paid for the car, right? You bought the car, leased it, or whatever, and you've paid that, or you make your payments on that, and then separate from that, you may make a separate payment for a feature in your vehicle that you want.
Yeah.
That you don't have to, but you choose to. So, for example, General Motors forever has had OnStar, right? And OnStar, of course, is a great service, both for in case of emergency or concierge service that gives you extra, either safety and security, or it gives you extra assistance. And that's something that's not included. That service is not included when you buy the car, but you pay for it extra.
They give you a trial.
Yeah. Do you have anything have you ever had anything like that in your car?
I have, yeah. So I mean, I remember OnStar when my father bought a Cadillac Eldorado back in the day, and that was such a novel idea because that was before GPS was in your car. So you could have OnStar route maps into your dash, even if you didn't have, they could guide you through it, right? It was like MapQuest over the phone. Hey, OnStar, I want to go to the Baseball Hall of Fame. And they would get you there. And at that point, that was like, wow, that's so cool. Now I drive an Acura, so I actually have AcuraLink in my car.
Oh, yeah.
Which is similar. So they've evolved quite a bit, right? Like OnStar back in the day was very much like Mike said, concierge, maybe had some map support, vehicle location if it ever got lost or stolen. They would have a GPS in there that they could find it, a connected service. And now it's expanded so much to remote start, unlock and lock your doors, roll your windows down, plus the low jack and the location.
Yeah.
And even some crazier ones, which I'm sure we're going to talk about a little bit
later. Yeah, we're going to chat about them in a minute. Yeah, so some of the other brands have gone a little further than that, and we'll get to that in just a second. Now, Honda, like Jared mentioned, AcuraLink and HondaLink are very similar, same system. So Honda does have that support, does have that service. If a Honda owner, if you have a vehicle that's equipped with that hardware, that you can pay additional money monthly as you need it. Now, just to kind of equate what we're going to talk about in terms of other features that some manufacturers have in their vehicles that you can either pay for or not pay for. I always equate this to everybody's familiar with cable television, right? And now there's digital television where you don't even need cable, you just need a Wi-Fi connection. Right. So it's very similar to that. So when people are having a tough time grasping the concept of, so I have a car, now we're talking about cars. If I have a car and there's certain features that if I don't pay for, I don't get them. Yeah, that's exactly the case. That's exactly the case. So in other words, the technology is in the vehicle, but you don't receive benefit of that feature unless you pay for it.
You're activating it
Yeah, exactly. So I know it's a weird concept because we're kind of like morphing, the industry is morphing to that. But I assimilate that to like cable television, like I was saying. So for example, with cable, you can, those of us that still have cable, I know I do, you just have like basic cable, right? And you get X amount of channels.
Right.
But then if you want the movie channels,
or you pay a little extra.
HBO, Cinemax, whatever all those movie channels are, you could pay extra and get them. But if you don't want them, you don't have to pay for them. So instead of the cable companies charging some huge amount, although they all seem like they're pretty big, but an even bigger amount and say, well, you get everything, they say, oh, if you don't want some of these because maybe you're not as much of a movie watcher, you can pay less.
Right. Maybe you don't want the sports channel.
Yeah, right. Not everybody wants to follow sports or you know, cooking channels or whatever, although I think everybody likes the cooking channels.
I mean,
I love those.
Yeah, especially when you're hungry.
Exactly. You end up making something after you watch those and when you weren't even hungry. So
I can make that.
Yeah, that's right. So that is kind of just the you know, comparison to what you have in what you could have in a subscription-based vehicle with hardware where you don't have all the features. Now, before we got on air, Jared pulled out the first one that everybody remembers about this when it came out a few years ago.
Huge debacle.
Right, yeah, huge debacle. Now, certainly no offense, and it's not any shade toward BMW.
No.
But BMW was the first one to try this. And what's the feature that they tried it with?
They were trying to monetize your heated seats.
Heated seats, right?
Yep.
So, a lot of us, me included, I have heated seats in my vehicle, right? But there's a little like button, like a hard button that I click on, click off. And that's what most people are used to. Yeah. So what BMW did was they have all soft touch. They don't have buttons. It's all soft touch, like a digital screen. And if somebody opted to pay for the subscription of having heated seats, they could pay for it, and then the button would be active, and you could turn on heated seats.
And if not, it's just a dumb button.
Right. And you don't have heated seats.
Nope.
So the issue was, I think that feature, that subscription-based feature, was a little ahead of its time, right?
Yeah.
So people weren't used to it. There hasn't been any and so if you bought a BMW and you just assumed that it had all this equipment because you know it could be equipped with it, people were getting a little upset that they paid X amount.
A little heated. Yeah, a little heated. No pun intended on the heated seats.
They paid a certain amount for a car, and well, the heated seats are in there, like the things are in the seats,
they're there.
But I can't use them. So it certainly fell on kind of some negative press there, so which we understand. However, the other side of that is you paid a certain price for the vehicle, and it might have been a lot. They're not inexpensive, but they could have, BMW could have just increased the price and included heated seats.
Right.
And how far does that go? Maybe the navigation system in the vehicle wasn't included, but if you paid X amount more, and so forth. And so you can see where that would add up. And so the other side of that, which is why I'm kind of 50-50 on whether they make sense or not, is because if you don't want that, like let's say you live in you only live in Florida, and you don't need heated seats ever. Well, should you have to pay for them?
Well, that's true.
Right? And it's not, the day and age is, instead of having the manufacturing process when the car is built have all these different versions, the manufacturers are going toward make one version, but have the ability for the car, you to subscribe to what you want in the car.
On and off. Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of like, if this is the first time that anybody's hearing about this, we'd love to hear some comments. So whether you chime in on the live, we're live right now, or if you're watching the replay, feel free to put your comments in, because I think there are a lot more people that have kind of been exposed to this than we think. Have you heard of some people talking about it?
Well, especially now, actually. My wife just recently bought a Subaru Crosstrek, 2024, not super old, and when we picked up the car, Mohawk Honda, shout out, it had an extra fob on the key fob, right? So normally now we don't have a lot of keys, we don't have that anymore, but it had two. One was a remote start, and one was the normal key fob. I was like, that's weird. It's got a remote start fob, and it had the normal key fob, right? So I'm looking into it, looking to see it, and that was an option from Subaru that if you didn't want to pay for their StarLink, I believe is what their service is, this individual who originally purchased it opted to get the hardware key fob so that if they didn't pay for StarLink, they could remote on and off their car. And got me thinking, I have an Acura, I can remote start it from AcuraLink, but actually if I don't pay for AcuraLink, the technology in the car, I can remote start it, but if I don't pay for it, I can't remote start the car. So it got me thinking on that of, okay, so that kind of is a feature that if I didn't want to pay for it, it gets locked out.
Okay. All right. And what about this? This is something that I don't think people think about. And I only think about it when there's some TV show, going back to the television scenario, when I want to watch something and it's coming out on a certain, like, a certain service, like on Netflix or on Hulu or whatever. You know what a lot of people do, and I know I've done this, is I'm not a Hulu subscriber, but I want to watch this thing, so I'll subscribe for 1 month.
Yep.
Right? I'll watch what I want to watch, and now I don't want it anymore, and I just won't subscribe anymore. So I really only paid 1 month's worth, right?
Correct.
And so what about that scenario with a vehicle, right?
Yeah.
What about, let's just use the heated seats, right?
Yeah.
So what if we live in the Northeast, and it's pretty cool around here, say 6 months of the year, or maybe 5 or 6 months.
Yep.
So I certainly would understand, especially budgets being tight, is why should I pay for the subscription for 12 months if I don't need it? Right, exactly, right? So that almost like makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think you're going to fall on one side of the fence or the other, right? So one side of me thinks, all right, the technology's in the car. The heated seats, they're already installed in the car. Why can't I use them all the time? They're already there. On the second camp of that, if you could save money by only using it 6, 8 months, whatever, however many months you want to use it, well, then also why not? So I think it's a very polarizing topic right now because most of the stuff is in the car. Like all of the stuff for HondaLink, AccuLink, Subaru, OnStar, whatever, all of that's already in there. Your Wi-Fi hotspot is in there. That's another good one, Wi-Fi hotspots, right? Like a lot of cars have those and you only pay for the data you need. I think that makes a ton of sense. Heated seats, when you're actually talking about like functional features of the car, I think that's where people start to have their opinions because it's already there. You can see it's already in there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like software, I remember a long, long time ago when navigation was disc-based, if you could roll with the discs you got when you bought the car, or if you wanted new maps, you'd buy new discs.
Yeah.
So I think it makes sense for some features like that, and I know we're going to talk about some others where it'll more make sense for it. And I think when you talk hardware, it makes somewhat less sense.
Yeah, I guess that's true, right? Because we're talking mainly about things that are digital, right? That you see on a dash. I think that's probably where BMW went wrong. They didn't go with like navigation that is like inside that big screen. It was heated seats, where the heating elements are in the seats,
already there,
and that I think rubbed people the wrong way, right? It'd be like buying a new home with a pool, and them saying, the seller saying, well, you can't use the pool.
That's right.
You're like, well, it's right there.
It's only
like,
in the summer.
It's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense. So, yeah. So far, the subscription-based features that I'm aware of that some of our AI has told us about are mainly those digital features, right? So navigation, concierge services, emergency services, things like that are mostly inside that head unit, right? The big, they're not removable nowadays, but that big screen, whether it's in front of you or to the side, and obviously our friends at Tesla are really the pioneers with that, right?
Yep.
Because a lot of Tesla owners out there, of course, a lot of might be watching. We have a bunch that work here. But that vehicle, and it's not turned on, there literally are no hard buttons at all, right? No. So everything that you see come on the info screen is all based on what you purchased.
Yep.
Now Tesla was the first, and I haven't heard too much negative, and I didn't see anything posted that was super negative, because Tesla was the first to change the performance of a vehicle based on your subscription.
Yep.
Right? So you could enhance the performance of the vehicle if you paid X amount for a subscription.
You can have a sports car in the summer and a normal daily driver in the winter.
Right, and why does that matter? Because not everybody's the same, right? We don't want to get too much of a debate here, but I have a feeling Jared's probably a little bit more of a sporty driver than I am.
Maybe.
And maybe that's just because I'm a slowpoke. That's what I meant by it. But anyway, so two different people driving the same car. Like, not everybody wants to drive the car the same way.
Right. 100%.
So they did a really good job, I thought, rolling that out.
They did.
They have a whole bunch of other features that are, based on subscription.
Yeah, and I think it comes brand perception. Tesla is a very tech-focused company, so I don't think people were as shocked when those were the options they were presented, because it is very forward-thinking, very tech-focused. So when they're presented with these options, like, oh, do you want to upgrade this? You want to upgrade that? They're like, oh, yeah, sure, okay. And they were more receptive of it not being there, if not. Where you get some of like these legacy brands, some of the brands that have been around for 10s, 20s, hundreds of years, I think that's where people have the idea like, oh, well, I bought an Escalade back in 2002 and it had everything I ever wanted, and now it's changing.
That's a good point. Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, for sure. And Honda, I guess I'd group Chevrolet and Honda both in that category. Been around for decades and decades and longer. And certainly if somebody owned 2, 5, 10, 15 Hondas in their family or in their life, that's a lot of vehicles from the same brand. And you certainly get used to certain things.
You do.
And just like anybody, I know I'm that person too. When you change things up a little bit, I'm kind of like, oh, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Like, do I
It's
feel a
not like
little
it
slighted?
used to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I feel a little slighted. But I'll hit you with some, and the other big Tesla feature before we go on is they have a summon feature, right? Where you can summon your Tesla where the vehicle is parked somewhere and you're not at the same place, and you can summon it based on the app, and the vehicle will move autonomously.
Right to you.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. But not everybody wants that. Everybody cares about that. So that certainly is a subscription. And of course, the big one is the self-driving.
Correct.
Right? So full self-driving, partial self-driving, and that's a big deal for Tesla. So that has always been a question, especially if you've ever considered buying a used Tesla, because what the vehicle's equipped with hardware is different than what you pay for. So anyway, that's kind of just the idea. So we wanted to kind of circulate this topic.
Yeah.
I'll just kind of add a couple things. I agree with these positives and negatives in terms of that they are positives and negatives. The benefits so far that we talked about of having subscription-based in your vehicle, whether you own one now or whether this is the wave of the future, certainly flexibility, right? Flexibility that if two people buy the same car and I like certain features and Jared likes different features, I don't have to pay for the features that he wants.
Right.
He doesn't have to pay for the ones I want. Also, the almost like month-to-month ability to remove features, like I don't need heated seats. It's New York. It's 90 degrees out today.
Absolutely.
We don't need them today, right? So why should I pay for them? Also, that could possibly keep vehicle prices, the total price of the car, keep them reasonable.
Correct.
Instead of having increased pricing, and before you know it, they're going to be crazy. They already are crazy enough.
Crazier than they are.
Yeah, and lastly, if any of those features need to be updated, having over-the-air updates available, because obviously the technology for subscription-based would be all over the air. You wouldn't have to visit a dealer or anything like that. Everything would be over the air. However, we certainly recognize that there are some drawbacks. Some of the drawbacks, I feel like I subscribe to so many things, I don't even know what I'm subscribed to, right?
Just subscribe to everything.
Yeah, you get
no
fatigue.
Idea.
It's actually called subscription fatigue.
Yeah, it's a thing now.
Yeah, it's mainly used in like for media, right? Like TV watching and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. Also, I certainly, like we were just talking about, in my day and age, I feel like if I paid this amount for a car, like everything should be in there.
You're going to use the whole car.
Yeah, well, I should all be in there. Like I almost feel a little cheated if I paid X amount and it doesn't have everything. So there's certainly that feeling. And then also, depending on how long somebody is going to keep a vehicle, right? If you pay monthly for something and you're going to keep the vehicle for 8, 10, 15 years, and you've paid monthly, now you may have paid more in a subscription than what it would have been if it was just included, right? So there's that. It's funny, we'll end on that, but as far as the drawbacks, but that actually makes, this idea, and I'm sure people have had this before, the manufacturer have had this before. What if you gave the customer an option, one or the other?
A flat fee versus a subscription price?
Yeah, right? So one time forever?
Yeah.
Or, that would be a good, right? Like I know the subscriptions, like the streaming services I have, you can either pay monthly or for a year.
Right.
None of them have it forever.
No.
But this is a little different scenario, because if you wanted those heated seats in the vehicle like BMW could have done, or maybe what if you just paid one time because you say, I always want it, I don't ever want to talk about this again, and I don't want to pay monthly.
Done.
Or the other person next to me could say, oh no, I want to pay monthly because I may not want it at all.
Right.
You know what I mean? So maybe that's a nice in between.
Yeah, and I think it is, because I was thinking while we were talking, is like, all right, like I have AccuraLink, and if I was going on a road trip, I would probably want that just in case of, say my car did get stolen, or say I was in an unfamiliar territory. But maybe if I'm just going to keep my car home, maybe I wouldn't use that. So it got me thinking about that. And the one drawback that I always think of is, if you can turn it on, they can turn it off. So what happens when they say, hey, they say OnStar, we're done with OnStar now? Then what happens?
Right.
You know.
Right. So if you paid up front, that's it. You
That's
don't
it.
have it anymore.
Right.
But if you paid monthly, you just obviously don't pay anymore. and
Right.
Now
Then
you're
just end a subscription. And you're like, anyway, we move on.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. So anyway, we'd love your opinion. If you're watching live, feel free to chime in. If you're on the replay, feel free to put your comments in about what you feel about that. To a lot of people, this is a new concept.
Yeah.
But the reason for making it our topic today is because it's actually not a new concept. It's more of a new way of thinking in the car business.
It is.
And in the actual, like, am I going to buy a 2026 whatever brand and I'm going to have to pay extra?
Right.
Well, we certainly invite you to, especially with Honda and Chevrolet, to contact us. We have experts always available on our website. Feel free to chat in. That's the way to do it nowadays, right?
Yeah.
It's just like texting. Just chat on our website, and one of our live agents will answer your questions.
Real person.
Real person. That's right. Real person. AI is great, but if you have some questions about this stuff, we want our folks to answer it and let you know what's going on. But so far, other than those emergency services, we don't have any connected services that are really prevalent like that.
No.
So if you're thinking about a new Honda or a new Chevrolet, you don't have to worry about that, but feel free to chat us up about it. We love to talk about it. So, just on a quick recap, we have a couple things going on. I'll let Jared recap that locally. We have a couple things.
Yeah, recap. Schenectady giveaway for New Schenectady. Keep an eye out on social media. Facebook, Instagram is where the giveaways are hosted. So we will be posting on Thursday again with the next 2 restaurants that are coming up. We're drawing the winners very shortly, probably in the next 10 to 15 minutes for Arthur's and Manhattan Exchange. But Mike, I have a bet you didn't know.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know if you came prepared.
I didn't, so go ahead.
All right, so bet you didn't know OnStar was first released in 1996 in their Cadillac line.
Okay.
So OnStar has almost been around for 30 years.
Wow, 30 years next year.
30 years next year. OnStar, a connected service in the 90s.
Wow, and if it was a model year 96, then it might already be 30 years because the 26 is out.
So OnStar's been around for as long as I've been alive.
That's right, and hugely successful. Have saved a lot of people a lot of time, and have saved a lot of people a lot of safety and health. So when there were issues, so there are certainly a lot of positives. So hopefully that's what you took away from this episode.
Yep.
We appreciate you watching. Thanks for tuning in. We come to you again. This is Mohawk Table Talk, and I'm Mike, and this is Jared. Back next week will be the co-host Nate Greklich. But until then, we see you next week every Tuesday at 12:30. We're bringing the latest and greatest in the car business, both locally and nationally. So hopefully this was helpful, and feel free to share and pass on this episode to your friends.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week.
See you.